Welcome, everybody. I am super hyped to talk about these absolutely incredible Leavanny buffs and changes. They are really fucking good now, and they have all kinds of awesome new tools to work with. But before I can get into this, I want to have a quick little disclaimer to check out the description below. You can see all of the buffs and changes for all of the Pokemon so far for yourself, and most importantly, as you can see here on this tab on the bottom, there is a sheet that says search all moves here, and you can check out every single move, buff, and change in the hack because every move is buffed or changed. For the most part, there's like no more than maybe a dozen that are unchanged, probably a couple more, but the vast majority, okay, over 600 moves are buffed or changed in some regard, not to mention there's 130 plus custom brand new moves, so you should definitely check out what all those do now in the description below. But I will touch on some of those in this video. Of course, I just don't have time to cover every single one. But with that being said, Leavanny, incredible, beautiful abilities in Tinted Lens and Technician, identical to Kricketsoon's abilities purely because they are like similar vibes of Pokemon. Leavanny having those red tinted eyes and Kricketsoon having those black tinted eyes, and then Technician obviously fitting both very well. Kricketsoon already had it, and then Leavanny, it fits beautifully. However, despite the fact that they share abilities, they still have their own unique identities. Yes, they both get Sticky Web. Yes, they both have very good move pools to abuse their moves, their abilities with, but they still have their own unique identity because of that stab, because of the different utility that they both get. For example, strength stab versus, I don't know, Kricketsoon has like stab boom burst and all this other stuff, so they are still different, but they are a little bit similar. Leavanny is also faster and less special attack but more physical attack, and it is much bulkier, but of course it also evolves much later at 32 as opposed to 20, so that's also something to consider. And then of course that stab is really important. For example, Bug Normal is immune to Ghost, while Bug Grass is infamously a bad typing, although on a fast offensive Pokemon like this, it's actually really nice because you have nice 4x resistances to switch into, for example, like not electric, hold on, why am I blanking on what they are? I know it has them. Yeah, grass and ground, that's what it was. Yeah, grass and ground, and a couple other useful resists as well. But the main allure here is the abilities and the incredible move pool that you can abuse with said abilities. The pre-evolutions are also absolutely great, but I'll talk about those at the end of the video because they are less of the focus, although they are really good. Like, they have really nice, they're really bulky, and they have really good utility moves and stuff. They're very fun to use, as I'm sure those of you who played Baron Black probably already know, and they're even better in this because of all the new move changes and stuff, and just, I think they even have better stats than they had in Baron, so yeah. But Leavanny, Tinted Lens Technician. Tinted Lens, I'm not even going to dwell on for too long because we all know how great that is, especially with your Bug and Grass dual stab, which is pretty garbage dual stab combo. Not actually that bad, but it's not great. Although Bug is a lot better offensively in this hack. Bug is no longer resisted by Fairy or Fighting or Ghost. So those three don't resist Bug anymore, which is nice. But regardless, Bug, Grass, Tinted Lens, great. You have powerful stab options as well. All kinds of powerful stab options. New moves you can see here on the bottom. You can check out what all those do. But I'm not going to dwell on it too long. Tinted Lens is especially good because it gives you room to run utility. So you can run even 3 utility moves and then 1 attack. You can have literally just 1 attacking move. And then you can fill the rest up with setup like Swords Dance, Calm Mind, Quiver Dance, or Blossom Dance, or Z Camouflage. Z Camouflage gives you an Omni boost, and it's actually really cool because you can become, for example, Technician, Electro Web plus Camouflage in the Electric Terrain, or Nature Power in Electric Terrain with Camouflage, or Nature Power plus Psychic Terrain in with Z Camouflage. It's gimmicky, but it's pretty cool. You can get Stab on the Terrain, and then you get the Terrain boost, and then you get the +1 to all your stats, and it's pretty fun. A little bit gimmicky, but it is fun. And that's also earlier on. Of course, level 48 is pretty damn early for an Omni Boost move. They also have other great utility, like Strength Sap is beautiful. Sticky Web obviously is great. They have so much good stuff. It's really look. All Pokemon in this hack have 4 move slot syndrome pretty bad. However, you do have access to all of these really good TM and tutor moves to reteach, so you can essentially cycle between your moves. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is that Pokemon do have access to infinite usability capsules and infinite and instantaneous EV training. So mixed attackers are much better because you can easily cycle between your physical and special sets. Not to mention it'll depend on your EVs and your IVs and your nature, 2 things you cannot change until the end of the game. You actually can never change your nature, but EVs you can. Sorry, IVs you can with bottle caps like post game. But anyway, you got to keep that in mind when you are building your sets. You can easily switch between certain sets for certain boss fights because I did balance it so that every Pokemon has many different things it can do. And if you are smart, you'll make the most out of that and change your stuff around very often. But yeah, Tinted Lens, beautiful. You can run all utility moves in it. Technician is also great. Technician is obviously stronger than Tinted Lens by a lot, and you have an incredible move pool with that. Also, your other boosting options that didn't cover Swords Dance is obviously still Swords Dance. All these moves have decreased PP, by the way. Calm Mind is great. Quiver Dance doesn't give you a special defense boost anymore, so it's like, you get speed, which is great, but, Calm Mind could still have a lot of use. Not to mention, Calm Mind is reteachable and has more PP, 3 versus 2, as opposed to, Quiver Dance is 2. And then Blossom Dance is even better at level 60. That's the last move you get, and that is a move that gives you +2 speed as well as +1 to both your attack and special attack. So that's great for mixed sets, as well as really nice to make your 109 base speed, which is already very good. You can check out in the description below. On the speed tier, guys, you can see where Leavanny currently stacks up. 109 base speed's great. Not to mention, you have all types of priority, which both Tinted Lens and Technician both adore. Like, they really love the priority moves. So you have early game, of course, every Pokemon has priority for the most part. So you have Leaf Flurry, Creeping Strike, and Seed Shot, and then you get Silver Gale as well. So you have physical and special, regular, reliable, spammable priority moves, which are of course weaker. And then you also have First Impression via TM, which is amazing with Technician and Tinted Lens. Technician is boosted by First Impression, because First Impression is now a 60 base power move that with Technician, Hustle, it can't miss, so it works with Hustle. Same with all priority moves, but this is not a video about Hustle, so I'm not going to get into it. But my point was Technician, Hustle, and Ruthless all work with First Impression, and that's by design, so that's really fun. But yeah, that's all beautiful, okay? But Technician, most importantly, lets you use powerful coverage options. So Tinted Lens, you don't need coverage, but still have really good coverage. Not to mention, obviously, unresisted stab is still going to do less than a super effective coverage move, depending on how powerful the stab and the coverage move is, of course. So for fighting type coverage, which is pretty important for your stab combo, to hit steals and all that other stuff, you do have Brick Break, Low Kick, Takedown, and Pummel. Pummel is being one of the best ones because of Technician, and then you have reteachable, reliable options like Low Kick for heavier Pokemon, and also because it lowers speed, and also technically could be Technician boosted, by the way, because if the Pokemon in front of you is relatively light, meaning it's 40 to 60 base power normally, it would go to 60 or 90 base power Technician, so that's actually pretty good, all things considered. On average, you'll be getting 80 to 90 base power with Low Kick. Brick Break is pretty nice, 85 base power. Takedown, 110 base power, but it deals recoil. And then you have Pummel, which is really nice. It's a multi-hit move. It's essentially fighting type Bullet Seed. And then you also have Flurry Swipes, which is dark type Bullet Seed. And then you have actual Pin Missile and Bullet Seed. So all four of those are great with Technician. Leech Life is incredible with Technician, as well as Mega Drain and Siphon. Leech Life is now 60 base power, however it heals you by 100% of your HP, which is incredible as opposed to the original 50%, so it is weaker, but I did that so not only is it boosted by Technician, but it's also just more of a balanced, fun move that is used for healing, especially, you're kind of draining the life out of the opponent. Siphon is the exact same thing, but it's special and 50 base power, and then Mega Drain is actually much better than Giga Drain on Leavanny, but also just situationally better than Giga Drain in some cases, because Mega Drain is 60 base power as opposed to 75, but it heals you by 75% HP as opposed to 50, so you kind of have to give and take there. You do heal overall more with Mega Drain than Giga Drain on non-Technician Pokemon, let alone with Technician and Stab. Obviously, Mega Drain is incredible. However, a lot of these early game moves you would have to keep the whole time, which is not that big of a deal, but like I said, this is one of the cases where the four moveset syndrome is definitely very daunting. You're definitely going to have a lot of issues picking your moves because there is no movie learner until oh my god, I'm stuttering. There is no movie learner until the end of the game, which is of course by design. Even if I wanted to change it, I couldn't, because in Gen 7 learns all the moves that you could learn. So for example, if it was level 30, you get movie learner, you could fucking relearn 150 base power moves that you're supposed to get at the end of the game. So that's not balanced. If I could change that too, then I guess I would move it earlier. But honestly, I kind of like the challenge of having to balance and juggle your moves around. It rewards a lot more skill and preparation as opposed to just unga bunga, I do whatever I want. Not that I wouldn't mind having the choices, but I like how a lot of the really good moves by level up require you to keep them. In this case, it would be nice to have movie learner though. So it is what it is. You got to take it as you go. But yeah, in general, they have all kinds of really fun stuff. Dual Wing Beat is also Technician boosted. That's 135 base power overall. I already said Leech Life and the other healing moves like Siphon and Mega Drain. Struggle Bug is really nice as well. That has 90 base power and drops both attack and special attack by 1. Bug Biting is very strong with Technician. I'm covering the stab ones first mostly. Bug Biting is 105 base power overall, and of course it hits twice, so it's 30 base power, 45. Wait. How strong is each hit of Bug Biting? Why am I blinking? It's normally 35 per hit. Yeah. So 70 times 1.5, 105. Yep, I was right. Okay. There is, of course, a Technician boosted guide here on the Google Sheet. that you can check down below, and you can just look at all the moves for yourself, and you can literally just look at it all, and that's very handy. Finishing Blow is also great. Finishing Blow works great with Technician or Tinted Lens. Tinted Lens is great because you're unresisted, so you can run like, you know, a Swords Dance or a Quiver Dance, or later on Blossom Dance with Finishing Blow, and then when you kill something with Finishing Blow, you get +3 attack. So you have unresisted Finishing Blow, or with Technician, your Finishing Blow goes from 52.5 base power to 78.5, which is very strong for a move that gives you +3 attack when you kill something on a Pokemon with 109 speed. 109 speed is not as crazy as you might think. It's a very good speed tier, but it is outsped by a lot of stuff still. But that is why you have stuff like First Impression that you can always teach to check faster offensive threats. You know, that's the beautiful part of having all the preparation that you have available to you. Otherwise, Steel Wing is great with Technician. That is 60 base power now, but it gives you +1 defense guaranteed. Speaking of, yes, they did have Steel Wing already. That's why I gave them Dual Wing Beat. I understand that they don't look like they have wings. I don't know where their wings are. I guess you could either, you know, Mantises have wings, but I don't know, Leavanny's weird. But they already learned Steel Wing, so why not give them Dual Wing Beat? It's a cool Technician move. Air Cutter is also Technician boosted, 90 base power. Not the best thing in the world, but, you know, it's early on, level 32. Electro Web Technician, that's 90 base power as well, and that's pretty good coverage. Covet and Knockoff are also Technician boosted. Those are all both 90 base power Fairy or Dark coverage moves. Of course, you have Play Rough and Health Thrust, which are stronger, but you know, they have drawbacks of recoil or inaccuracy. Other good coverage like Earth Power, Weather Ball, they've got so much fun stuff. Really, it's beautiful. Like, it's such a fun, rewarding Pokemon. Strength Step is huge, like I said, on the Tinted Lens sets especially, but even on Technician sets. The beautiful thing is you can actually run the same sets a lot of the time and only cycle between a certain amount of moves. Utility plus First Impression, Tinted Lens plus U-Turn, whatever, like that's great. It's just, it can do so many things. But quickly at the end of the video, I will talk about the pre-evolutions. They are bulky. They have 2 great abilities in Harvest and Grassy Guard. Grassy Guard gives you 50% defense in grassy terrain. So grassy terrain is now a TM. And what that means is you'll get residual healing from grassy terrain, the 50% boost to your stab from the terrain, as well as the 50% boost to your defense from the terrain. So that's awesome. You become super tanky, and you can use that in conjunction with Leech Seed and Spiky Shield, and you can become basically immortal with lefties if you want as well, but that's honestly overkill. Another fun thing you can do a couple levels before you evolve is Ingrain, which you would have in time for Olivia, which is pretty fun. Ingrain is essentially Calm Mind, however, it lowers your speed, which doesn't matter in this case. So let me fix this a little too high up. But yeah, another cool thing you can do is that this is actually one of the few Pokemon to learn Ingrain and Baton Pass very early on. Baton Pass is negative priority, which is just a balancing thing, but you can actually Baton Pass that Ingrain, so you get a Calm Mind boost as well as the healing from Ingrain, by the way. So you still get that healing. The downside is you can't switch out, but because you have Baton Pass, you can switch out. I believe you can also probably switch out with Party Shot or U-Turn, by the way, but you know, if you want to pass that on to your teammate and get that special defense boost and whatever, it's pretty fun. You could also use like a White Herb. I think that might work if you put Baton Pass into a White Herb and you lose the speed drop, -5 speed, but you can also just pass it to a slow Pokemon or whatever you want to do. But yeah, or a Pokemon with priority, all kinds of things you can do. Yeah. In general, they also have other powerful stab. Oh, I didn't even cover Technician Bug Bomber. Holy shit. Yeah, Technician Bug Bomber, absolutely incredibly powerful. Bug Bomber is a special bug-type version of Surging Strikes. So that is 25 base power per hit and it always crits. Well, 90% accuracy as well as all the other crit moves. The 100% crit moves are slightly inaccurate for the most part, just for balancing reasons, just to add a little bit of a downside, because in a Nuzlocke, that 90% accuracy could mean you die unless you run Wide Lens. Definitely not worth the risk unless you absolutely have to, you know, run a certain item and you cannot afford to run Wide Lens, but then you're toying with death in a Nuzlocke, which is definitely what this hack is balanced around. So that's also why I made all these moves a lot more accurate. But yeah, point is, Bug Bomber with Technician, that is 37.5 base power per hit without the crit boost. So it's roughly 52.5 base power per hit, I believe. Let me check really quickly. 25 times 0.25, 56.25 base power per hit, excuse me. So yeah, and that hits 3 times. So you are at 168 base power. It's a very strong move. It's very nice, and it also hits 3 times, so it bypasses 30 and Focus Sash, and it crits, so it bypasses Stat Boost and all this fun stuff. So great move right there. That's why it's one of the last moves it learns. In general, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous move pool on this Pokemon. Beautiful abilities, very good stats. Nothing too crazy because, you know, it has the great abilities in the move pool. It doesn't need to be that fast or that strong. Also, again, I do try to make these changes more logical. 550 base stat total, as it is a 3-stage mon. Most 3-stage mons have 550 if they need it, especially if they're mixed attackers and they need the base stat total. I got a comment on one of my other videos talking about that, and I had to kind of explain that. I don't have time in these videos to explain all that kind of stuff. I wish I could, but I'll try to keep these shorter. Speaking of, yeah, I probably went a little bit longer than usual in this video, but I'll leave the video off here. Hopefully you enjoyed this style of buffs changes. I probably missed a couple other things. Honestly, there's so many things here to cover. It would take me forever to cover every single option, but in general, they're great. Harvest is also great. I didn't cover that yet, but I'll just say it's nice. Entrainment is nice for like Totem or Aquanid to delete its ability, all that fun stuff. Yeah, Harvest is nice with like the spiky shield lead sheet stuff if you're not running grassy terrain. Although you do have the TM, so it's pretty free. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back for more sick Unova Pokemon. Bye, everybody.